The news shows war, tensions rising in the Strait of Hormuz, Iran, escalation, and your body is responding like you're the one in danger. Your heart races when you check headlines, you can't sleep, you feel on edge constantly, and you wonder, why am I this anxious about something happening thousands of miles away? Here's the truth, your nervous system can't tell the difference between a threat on a screen and a threat in your living room. And once you understand why global chaos triggers you so deeply, you can finally find peace even when the world feels like it's falling apart. I know this anxiety. When global tensions rise, I used to spiral completely. I check news obsessively, catastrophize every headline, play out worst case scenarios in my mind, and my body would stay activated for days, fight or flight mode, all the time. I thought something was wrong with me, that I was overreacting, that I should just stop watching the news. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was I didn't understand what was actually happening in my nervous system. Then I learned something that changed everything. Your anxiety about global chaos isn't irrational. It's not you being weak or dramatic. It's your nervous system doing exactly what it evolved to do, detect threats to your survival. And in the modern world, where news travels instantly and we're bombarded with global crises 24/7, your ancient threat detection system is overwhelmed. It's working perfectly, it's just working in a context it wasn't designed for. Here's what we're covering. First, why your nervous system can't differentiate between personal and global threats and what that means for your anxiety. Second, why trying to just stop worrying doesn't work and actually makes it worse. And third, the 3 practices that will help you stay grounded and find peace even when global chaos is real and ongoing. Let's start with what's actually happening in your body when you see news about Iran, war, or global crisis. Your nervous system has one primary job: keep you alive. It's constantly scanning for threats, and when it detects danger, it activates your fight, flight, freeze response. Your heart rate increases, stress hormones flood your system, your thinking brain shuts down, and your survival brain takes over. This is brilliant design. If a tiger is chasing you, you need this response immediately. But here's the problem. Your nervous system evolved over millions of years in small tribal groups where threats were immediate and local. A predator, a hostile tribe, a natural disaster you could see and respond to. Your system is designed to detect threats within your immediate environment and mobilize you to fight, flee, or freeze. It's not designed to process threats happening on the other side of the world that you can see but can't do anything about. So when you watch news about potential war in Iran, your nervous system perceives threat. It sees images of conflict, it hears alarming language, it registers danger, and it activates. Your body goes into survival mode. But there's nothing to fight, nothing to flee from, no action you can take to make yourself safe. So the activation just sits there, churning, creating anxiety. And the more you consume news trying to feel more in control, the more activated you become. Because you're repeatedly exposing yourself to threat stimuli without any resolution. This is why global chaos triggers such deep anxiety. It's not because you're weak, it's because your nervous system is responding to perceived threat the only way it knows how. And in a world where you can watch war unfold in real time on your phone, your system is constantly activated by threats you can't actually respond to. You're stuck in a state of hypervigilance, always scanning for danger, never able to rest. Because the threat never resolves, it just continues, day after day, headline after headline. Now, most people try to manage this anxiety in ways that don't work. They try to just stop worrying, to think positive, to rationalize that they're safe so they shouldn't be anxious. But this doesn't work because anxiety isn't logical, it's physiological. Your nervous system is activated, and you can't think your way out of a nervous system state. Telling yourself, I'm safe, I shouldn't worry, while your body is in fight or flight is like telling someone having a panic attack to just calm down. The logic doesn't reach the activated state. Other people try to avoid all news completely. If I don't know what's happening, I won't be anxious. And while reducing news consumption is important, complete avoidance often backfires because your nervous system knows something's wrong. You can feel the collective anxiety. You sense the tension in conversations, in social media, in the energy around you. So avoiding information doesn't make you feel safer, it makes you feel more vulnerable. like you're walking through the world blind to danger, and that creates a different kind of anxiety. The solution isn't to stop caring about global events. It's not to bypass your feelings or pretend everything's fine. The solution is to work with your nervous system, to acknowledge what's happening in your body, to give it what it actually needs to feel safe, and to create practices that ground you in the present moment instead of keeping you stuck in fear about an uncertain future. Here's how you actually find peace even when global chaos is real and ongoing. Practice number 1. Regulate your nervous system first, then engage with news consciously. Your nervous system needs to know you're safe right now. Not theoretically safe, not safe in general, safe in this moment. So before you engage with any news about war, Iran, or global crisis, you ground yourself. You take 3 deep breaths. You feel your feet on the floor. You look around the room and notice. Right now, in this moment, I am safe. My immediate environment is secure. There is no threat in my present reality. This isn't denial. This is orienting your nervous system to actual present moment reality instead of potential future threat. Because your body is responding to news as if the threat is happening to you right now, and you need to give it accurate information. The threat is not here. I am safe in this moment. This room is safe. My body is safe. And you let your nervous system register that safety. You don't rush it. You stay with the sensation of being grounded and safe for at least 60 seconds before you engage with any distressing content. Then, when you do engage with news, you do it consciously. You set a timer, maybe 15 minutes. You check reliable sources. You get the information you need to be informed. And then you stop. You don't scroll endlessly. You don't jump from one alarming headline to another. You get what you need and you close it. And immediately after, you ground again. You return to present moment reality. You remind your nervous system, I received information about a global situation, but I am safe here, now, in this body, in this room. This practice interrupts the cycle of constant activation. You're not avoiding reality. You're engaging with it from a grounded state instead of a dysregulated state. And that makes all the difference. Because when you're grounded first, you can process information without your nervous system hijacking you into panic. Practice number 2. Distinguish between what you can control and what you can't, and release what isn't yours. This is ancient Stoic wisdom that's more relevant now than ever. You cannot control whether war happens in Iran. You cannot control global politics. You cannot control what world leaders decide. But you can control how you respond to the situation. You can control where you put your attention. You can control what actions you take within your sphere of influence. So you make a list, literally write it down. What can I actually control about this situation? Maybe you can control how much news I consume, whether I donate to humanitarian organizations, whether I contact my representatives, whether I have meaningful conversations with people I care about, whether I prepare sensibly for potential disruptions, whether I strengthen my community connections. These are things within your control. They're small, but they're real. And taking action on what you can control creates a sense of agency that reduces anxiety. Then you write what you can't control. War happening or not, other people's reactions, the decisions of world leaders, the timeline of events, the outcome of the crisis. And you practice releasing these, not because you don't care, but because carrying them doesn't help anyone. You say, either out loud or internally, this is not mine to carry. I release what I cannot control. I focus on what I can. And every time you notice yourself spiraling about things outside your control, you come back to this practice. Release what isn't yours, return to what is. This doesn't mean you become apathetic. It means you stop exhausting yourself trying to control the uncontrollable. You channel your energy into what's actually within your power. And that creates peace even in the midst of chaos. Because you're no longer fighting reality. You're working with what's actually in front of you. Practice number 3. Create daily anchors that ground you in what's stable and meaningful. When the world feels chaotic, you need anchors. Things that remind you what's real, what's stable, what matters. Because global crisis has a way of making everything feel uncertain and meaningless. And your nervous system needs something solid to hold on to. Your anchors might be spending time with loved ones, being in nature, creating something with your hands, moving your body, meditating, cooking a meal, having a meaningful conversation, reading something that nourishes you. These aren't distractions from reality. They're reminders that life is still happening, that beauty still exists, that connection still matters, that there are things worth protecting and celebrating even while acknowledging the suffering in the world. Every day, you practice at least one anchor, non-negotiable, even if it's just 10 minutes, because these anchors tell your nervous system life continues, meaning persists. I am not just a passive observer of global chaos. I am an active participant in creating moments of peace, beauty, and connection. And that participation matters, not because it stops war, but because it reminds you that you're human, that you're alive, that even in the midst of crisis, there are things worth being present for. I do this every morning. Before I check any news, I sit in meditation for 10 minutes. I connect with my breath, I ground in my body, I remind myself what I value and why my life matters regardless of global events. And that practice creates a foundation of stability that I carry through the day. So when I do engage with difficult news, I'm not starting from a place of fragility, I'm starting from a place of groundedness. And that changes everything. Here's what I want you to understand. Your anxiety about global chaos is not a flaw, it's not weakness. It's your nervous system responding to real stimuli in a world it wasn't designed for. You're not broken, you're human. And being human in a time of global crisis requires different tools than being human in a stable world. You need practices that work with your nervous system instead of against it, that honor your care for the world while protecting your capacity to function, that let you stay informed without being consumed. We covered why global chaos triggers such deep anxiety. Your nervous system can't differentiate between threats on screens and threats in your environment. We explored why typical solutions don't work. You can't think your way out of a nervous system state. And we walked through 3 practices: regulate first, then engage with news consciously, distinguish controllable from uncontrollable, and release what isn't yours, and create daily anchors that ground you in stability and meaning. This isn't about becoming numb, it's about becoming resilient. It's about being able to hold the reality of global suffering and your own need for peace. Both can be true. The world can be in crisis and you can take care of yourself. You can care deeply and protect your nervous system. These aren't contradictions, they're necessities. So here's your practice for today. Before you check news about Iran, the war, or any global crisis, take 60 seconds. Ground yourself. Feel your feet. Notice your environment. Remind your body, I am safe right now. Then engage consciously. Get the information you need. And then close it. Return to present moment. And do one thing today that anchors you in what's meaningful. Just one. And notice how different it feels to engage with global chaos from a place of groundedness instead of panic. Let me know in the comments, which practice resonates most with you? What helps you stay grounded when the world feels chaotic? You're not alone in this anxiety, and you're not powerless. You have more control over your internal state than you realize. You deserve peace, even when the world is in chaos, especially then. Welcome to Finding Peace Anyway. This is where resilience lives.